The very latest from the world of sports here on the AM show. My name is Asari Bediako. The big story is that holders Manchester United are out of the English League Cup after suffering a 2-1 defeat at Bristol City. But Bayern Munich are marching to the quarter-finals of the German Cup after defeating Borussia Dortmund at the Allianz Arena. And also, Cameroon, the host for the 2019 AFCON, could be stripped off the hosting rights. I'll bring you details a little later. But let's begin with the Ghana Premier League, because the 2017-2018 season is expected to begin in February next year. But before every season, the PLB organizes an awards night. And this year's awards night, the last year's awards night, the performance of players in the just ended season. And at that awards night, players will be rewarded. And Ashford Teteoku, who is chairman of the Premier League board, has been speaking to Baba Tanda of Joy Sports, and he's been telling Baba exactly when the events will take place next year.
Yes, in the past, when there was a sponsor, funding is, normally obtained from whatever money they give. It's ring fence, and then we go ahead and organize. In the absence of a headline sponsor, it's always something on the GFA to do. We have submitted a budget to them. Behind the scenes, there is an awards planning committee under Mr. Jojan Wakum. They are putting pieces together, and once the greenbacks flow, definitely we'll come out with awards.
So what's the time frame that you've given yourself for the awards to happen?
Yes, if we get funding now, we should be able to do it. But we'll definitely have to organize it mid-January also.
That was Ashford Teteoku, who is chairman of the Premier League board. Let's now focus on AFCON 2019. Cameroon is the country that's going to host, but the Confederation of African Football has threatened to strip off the hosting rights from Cameroon if they are not ready to host the competition. There's more in the following report.
The president of African football's ruling body, CAF, has once again issued a warning to Cameroon about the country's readiness to stage the 2019 finals. Earlier this year, Cameroon had to deny it was behind in its preparations, and that was before the Nations Cup was expanded from 16 to 24 teams. CAF President Ahmad says Cameroon's ability to host will largely depend on the results of an independent inspection visit by an auditing firm early next year.
If the host country is unable to organise it, we will find a country that will organise it. The authorities of the country, right up to the head of state, have always confirmed to us that they will be ready. We'll leave it up to the host country to work with an independent private firm without any influence whatsoever. It is up to them to provide us with the information that will enable us to say that Cameroon will be ready or Cameroon will not be ready.
Next, the English League Cup, because there's a big upset. Holders Manchester United are out after suffering a 2-1 defeat at Bristol City. We've got highlights of that game for you.
On the front foot here, no offside flag. Oh, what a moment that is! Just listen to that! Joe Bryan, he's the one to step up and carve out his own bit of cup folklore for Bristol City. Bristol City 1, Manchester United 0. What a strike! Absolutely brilliant, but this is all about his determination, his commitment, because when you look when he picks up the ball, he's the one that starts it all off, but he carries on running. He's got one thing on his mind, he never stops his run, and the ball is perfection. If the ball's perfection, I don't know what the next level of perfection is.
He bailed out Manchester United in the final of this competition last season with the winner. What can he do here, Ibrahimovic? He can find the bottom corner, the big man is back.
Bristol City's point of view, when you see this wall, it actually goes through the wall and then bounces just going behind for long. You see Mourinho, he will have been expecting that reaction to going 1-0 down. It's Smith! The roof has just come off here at Ashton Gate! Stoppage time! Bristol City 2, Manchester United 1! Crashing out. That looks like he's got the win. What a goal, what a performance, what a night. everything. Them second balls winning once again in the 93rd minute. And this is absolutely brilliant. Running off the ball. And the central midfielder, this time Smith, he decides to go forward and he gets his just rewards. They've deserved this performance. If it stays this way, they've deserved this. Let's forget about the fact that Manchester United haven't been great, and let's focus on Bristol City, because they have been magnificent, every single one of them. And he's masterminded what looks like.
So English League Cup holders Manchester United exit the tournament, but Chelsea march on because the Blues have reached the semi-finals after defeating Bournemouth at the Stamford Bridge on Wednesday night. Let's now focus on the German Cup, and Bayern Munich are into the quarterfinals thanks to victory over sworn rivals Dortmund at the Allianz Arena.
With this weekend's El Clasico approaching, fans of the beautiful game were treated to the German Clasico when Bayern Munich hosted defending champions Borussia Dortmund in round 3 of the DFB Cup on Wednesday night. The BVB went into the encounter without their goal-scoring talisman Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who missed out due to injury, while the hosts were being boosted by the returning Robert Lewandowski, who was trying to bring misery to his former club. The Bavarians flew out of the starting blocks, and it took them just 3 minutes to get a sniff at goal through Arturo Vidal, whose header cannoned off the crossbar. Lewandowski, having scored 9 times in the 13 matches he's played against Dortmund, looked to make it 10 5 minutes later, but he was expertly denied by Roman Bürki. Dortmund was scrambling to keep the scoreline level, but Bayern's relentless pressure paid off sooner rather than later.
Delightful curl on that ball, and again the aluminium, but the follow-up from Boateng, who hasn't scored in 82 Bundesliga games, puts Bayern in front.
The Borussians, who were being overrun in the stanza, almost got the equalizer late in the first half, only for David Alaba to recover well from an error in the box to make a brilliant save off the line. That seemed to have angered the Reds moments later, and they had a second. Lewandowski, the provider, Thomas Müller, with a deft touch. The visitors should have been trailing by 3 goals early in the second half, but Bürki made a stunning save to deny Müller a second. But there was still some fight left at the other end as Dortmund pulled one back.
Sold the dummy beautifully, back post chance, keeper couldn't keep it out, Yarmolenko scores. Now we got 15 minutes of fun coming up.
That brought the visitors to life, and they started to play with more belief, which saw them press for the equalizer until the final whistle. But it would not be their day. A first defeat for Peter Stoger as Dortmund manager since taking over earlier this month, while Bayern Munich march into the quarter-finals of the competition.
And in the Spanish La Liga, Real Sociedad have climbed to 8th on the league table after beating Sevilla at the Estadio Anoeta in San Sebastian.
Sevilla had the opportunity to go 4th and above Real Madrid in La Liga when they travelled to a struggling Real Sociedad on Wednesday, who were in search of a first win in 7 games. Sociedad made a lively start to the encounter, piling heaps of pressure on the visitors. The ascendancy resulted in the opening goal of the match coming in the 17th minute, Ingo Martinez's header finding the back of the net. The hosts were desperate to overturn the deficit, and they worked themselves back into the encounter just moments before the half-time whistle. Sociedad, looking to snatch victory, netted a second in the 76th minute when substitute Igor Zubeldia was assisted by a deflection to get his name on the scoresheet minutes after coming on. The hosts weren't about to stop there and got their third through the departing Carlos Vela, who was leaving for Los Angeles FC late in the match. That saw Sevilla's hopes of leapfrogging the defending La Liga champions suffer a setback. 3-1 the final score.
And that was your sports here on the AM show on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. For more news, make your way to myjoyonline.com/sports. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is Joy Sports GH. On Facebook, you can find us at Joy Sports. My name is Asai Bediako. Thank you very much for watching. The AM show continues.